On the evidence of the Canon PowerShot G9X, it's time to wave goodbye to the company's older, small sensor PowerShot cameras. Why? Because the G9X packs a large 1-inch sensor size into a slender body, making a good case to out-and-out replace models such as the Canon PowerShot S120. It's slim, approximate 98 x 58 x 31 mm, and genuinely pocketable too, barely any thicker than the S120 thanks to a lens which collapses into the body when the camera is switched off. There's a control ring around that lens for more advanced control, and we like the mixture of modern touchscreen married with more traditional control. It just feels right. The lens isn't half bad either, with a bright f/2.0 aperture available at the widest angle 28mm equivalent. We'd rather a wider angle 24/25mm option, but with an extension of 3x, the maximum 84mm f/4.9 equivalent is hardly far-reaching as it stands. But that's the payoff for buying something small and compact. In many ways the G9X represents Canon moving in on Sony RX100 territory, its Japanese competitor having launched what is one of the finest high-end compact cameras in the market, now in its 4th generation, so Canon is trailing a little. Canon has managed to go slimmer, however, and a little lighter on the feature set. There's no built-in electronic viewfinder or tilt-angle LCD screen like the RX100 IV, for example, but also on price. At £400 this Canon isn't a cheap PowerShot, yet it remains competitive in the wider market. Which can only be a good thing, really. As much as we appreciated the S120, as a reference point, the compact camera market has been somewhat stale over the last year, in part thanks to phone cameras getting so good. Larger sensor models, such as this G9X, are what's needed to reinvigorate the market. The G9X feels like a modern camera too. It's all touchscreen based with only a handful of physical controls on the rear. There's no D-pad, for example, instead with menus swiped through and options tapped just like you would on a mobile phone. It's taken far too long for Canon to reach this point in its user interfaces, but at least it's getting there. At this smaller scale the G9X doesn't do all the show-off things like its bigger brother G5X, unveiled simultaneously as part of Canon's European Expo in Paris. Think of the G5X as a larger sensor reimagination of the PowerShot G16, which is where Canon has been expected to head with the series for some time. Elsewhere the G9X feature set includes USB charging to top up from laptops, battery packs and the like, but a mains adapter is also included in the box, Wi-Fi for sharing shots with smart devices, NFC, near-field communication, for speeding up communications with said devices via a single tap, and 1080p at 60 fps video capture, no 4K though. Having used the G9X, we're impressed with how snappy it feels for a compact camera, even if it's not quite as nippy as the G7X or G5X in terms of autofocus speed. Tapping on the screen for autofocus is ultra simple and, for the target audience, everything feels well balanced. Image quality, which includes RAW capture in addition to JPEG files, ought to be a step ahead of earlier PowerShot models too, which is the real selling point for a camera such as this. The Canon PowerShot G9X will be available in November, priced £400.